Okay, so I was finally able to skate the Symetrics frames for a bit, and they're pretty great. I like them a lot. They feel very similar to the Kizer Fluid Vs, which I also really liked a lot. I would say they're nearly the same in terms of design, except the Kizer Fluid Vs have a slightly wider gap between the two middle wheels. As you can see here, if I line those up. Yeah, but the frame walls are about the same thickness, and the groove is pretty similar. It's a short, shallow groove, and what makes both of these frames so great for riding a flat setup is that the groove ends before the wheels. So what I mean by that is, although there's not a wheel here, let me grab a skate with a wheel so you can see. If you look here, you can see that the groove ends here, and then you have all this space before the wheel. And this is something that's really helpful in protecting against wheel bites. Just a quick note, I'm not skating K2s. These are just some skates that I had, and I wasn't using these frames anymore, so I put them on here because I thought maybe I would skate them for a video or something, but who knows if that's going to happen. But if you want to see me skate these front streets for a video, maybe I'll do that, but I don't know. I don't have any real plans for that. So between the Kizer Fluid V and the Symetric frame, I would say that the material of the Symetric frame is way better. It's much faster, and the frames feel really solid. I love everything about these. That said, the Fluid Vs are slightly more forgiving because they've got a little bit more space between the two wheels, but these are also pretty forgiving too. I didn't have too many issues, but I had wheel bite a couple times with the Symetrics and hardly any with the Fluid Vs. I prefer the Symetrics. These are my favorite frames so far, so these are the ones I'm going to skate. But I would say that if you're interested in trying flat and starting out, I think that for a traditional flat setup, the Fluid V is the best option, and it's also a lot less expensive. So it's less of a financial commitment if you decide you don't like it. And for a pretty much perfect, like no wheel bite setup, I would consider trying a 55mm wheel. The Undercover 5592, if you skate that flat on this frame, you'll almost never get wheel bite. It's very forgiving for someone who's just trying flat for the first time. I was skating 58 flat and it was really good, but 55 takes almost all of the any of the sketchiness out of the equation, even though there's very little with 58 as well. And that brings me to one other thing. I also tried these brand new Ground Control FLT4 frames. I was very happy with the Symetrics, but I saw the picture of these and I couldn't resist trying them. This H-block looked really good. I liked the replaceable design. I like how it comes down really low. And they seemed like they might be the perfect flat frame. So I had to try them out. So I ordered them and got them super fast because Oak City Skate Shop is the best. Oak City. And I skated them yesterday, and I will say that they are good, but they're not as good as the Symetrics, and I don't think they're as good as the Fluid Vs either. Although this wheel protection comes down really low and looks good, it's still a wide, deep groove, and I think that well, in my experience, that isn't the best for protecting against wheel bite. So even though it comes down low, if this wasn't so thin right here, I don't know if you can kind of see what I'm talking about. That little, if this was thicker, like it is on like this right here, if that was thicker than like it is on the Fluid Vs and the Symetrics, I think they would be good. And theoretically, someone could design a new H-block, and that would be great. I will say that this is all in regards to skating ledges. If you are skating rails, you'll never get wheel bite with a setup like this. It's perfect. They slide really fast. They slide faster than any other ground control frame that I've skated in the past. I don't know if all of their new frames are like that. To be honest, I haven't skated ground control frames in a very long time, but I do remember them being a bit slower than other frames. Like a little bit slower than Crate Originals. I think those were the last frames that I skated after ground control. So these frames are good. They're a great flat frame. But I think the Symetrics are the best. And I think that the Kizer Fluid Vs are the second best. And that's all I have to say about that.